Thanks for joining us for this symposium. I'm Bill Rapisi, President and CEO of the Lymphatic Education Research Network. LE&RN's mission is to fight lymphatic diseases through education, research, and advocacy. In order to win a fight, you first have to join it. So we ask, please become a supporting member of LE&RN at lymphaticnetwork.org. And we hope you enjoy today's symposium.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Catherine Sayo, and I am the founder and the director of Lipedema Simplified and the Lipedema Project. And I am so happy to be here with you today. We have been collaborating and partnering with LE&RN, and this is I think it's our 5th in the series on radical embodiment. And I am so thrilled to share Andrzej, Stec, and Kathy Park with you today. They are both ZEN teachers from Asia. They live in Seoul in South Korea. And the title is ZEN and the Art of Living Well with Lipedema. Great challenges invite great opportunities. And I want to talk about that piece. So what brought me to all of the work that I do is that I have lipedema, I have lymphedema, and I've struggled with obesity and body and my own lymphedema for years now. And the idea of living well with a chronic disease that at times can feel totally overwhelming, it almost seems like an impossible task. And I want to say that what I've learned is that it's not. And I think a lot of that has come from my own interactions with both Andrzej and Kathy, and the amazing invitation that they often offer to be present in the moment, to look at what can be done every moment, rather than something, let me say it this way. I have found what they share with me and with our community to be pragmatic, down to earth. What is the very next thing? It's as I was struggling, Kathy actually suggested something so simple: walk around the block. Andrzej supported me in it. And through that action, I have regained so much of my mobility. So the simple things and what those simple things can offer. And so Andrzej's background is as I said, a guiding teacher at a number of ZEN centers throughout the US and in Asia and Hong Kong and now in Seoul, and Kathy as well. Kathy actually was one of the members and began something called online Sangha. A Sangha is a group of people meditating and studying together and supporting one another. And Kathy founded that, and it's actually been active all around the world. So I want to say welcome, Kathy and Andrzej.
Hey, thank you, Catherine, and thank you everybody for joining this webinar. I'm really excited to be here, even I don't see you all. But I hope that this meeting will give you some kind of a new perspective looking at your situation. So great opportunity present, great challenges present us with a great opportunity. In ZEN, we have a saying, bad situation is good situation. And good situation is bad situation. When people hear that, they make a big eyes like, what? Because every human being, actually, we want to have a good situation, and we do everything possible to avoid the bad ones. And so everybody wants to be healthy, have lots of energy, be financially independent and have a great relationship, but nobody is signing for sickness, being tired, being lonely, and being broke. So how come the bad situation has any good in it? But actually, if we look closely, we change our perspective. Actually, every bad things comes with the good one, and other way around. The only problem is we don't see it. So whenever we have some situation, we get human beings are really good in adapting to it, but we don't like the process of adapting too much. So we just want to keep the status quo. And if something is changing, and it will change, because if you will look really at our life, you can perceive that actually everything is nonstop evolving, changing, not always the way we want, but the change is inevitable, and everything is impermanent. So we don't like that as a human being. So when this is happening to us, we become at least a little worried, or sometimes even this worry might goes into anxiety, and in some cases, even the change can trigger the panic. And whenever we resist the change, we don't embrace it, we fight with it, we will always go into stress mode, and anxiety will kick in. And when we are anxious or worry too much, definitely when we are in panic mode, what happens to us? Our vision, our perception of the situation is start narrowing down. And so whenever we're facing some fear, our pupils get bigger, but actually our vision get really a tunnel vision mode. So that means, if you are in the forest and you walk in the forest, suddenly you panic, you only see the one tree. And in the case of our life, this tree has like a big tag on it, and it says, you have a problem. So whenever you concentrate on it, you will just get more and more into this panic mode, and you will see, you will not perceive there is a way out. And you will not see those other trees which have a beautiful tags on them, and they say, this is opportunity, there is a solution. So how to change this bad situation in good situation? So I always talk about those three kind of things you have to do. Well, first of all, you have to start seeing those trees with the opportunity tag on it. So you have to widen your view. So the thing to do it is do its opposite what you are in. So do anything possible to change your anxiety into the calm and relaxed state. And what Zen is teaching, lots of very simple techniques. You can do it right away. And little step out of your situation, start seeing the things from a little different perspective. Well, whenever we see something, we believe that's the only view, the only perception. So we believe that everybody else is thinking the same way, but it's not the true. If you a little step back and little start getting wider perspective, but for that, you need to relax. So the first step is to start seeing things as they really are. So not every bad situation is only bad. There is some opportunity in every bad situation. In every bad situation, there is also a solution for it. But we definitely need to change perspective. So it's very important to not only believe what we see, and sometimes it's good also to ask somebody else, also because you are in this webinar, you are in this lipedema community, there are already some people who have very similar problems you have, and they already found the solution. So instead of you trying to perceive something and on your own, you can always use the wisdom of other people who already went through this similar situation. So in psychology, we call it, copy and paste. So copy something which works and paste it, do it, right? So that's the first. So first step is to see it. And if you don't see it, try to, from your own perspective, you are not able to see it, ask somebody who is outside of your situation. And those people can have a very good perspective and show you, look at this tree. Actually, the situation is not so bad. You can fix it. So that's first thing. And when you see that, the next thing is only seeing the opportunities in a bad situation will not change anything, right? You have like, oh, okay, yeah, I can change that. Or there is a way to fix it. But if you don't do the next step, nothing gonna happen. Your life will not change. So the next step is the most important. After seeing how opportunities, you start to act upon them. You have to act on them. So the action is the very important. And many people, when they go into the action, they have in my opinion, wrong strategy. Because if you don't like your situation, you want to get out of it as soon as possible, right? And then you see some opportunity and you believe in it, then your strategy is like all in, like, put all the chips on this one number. So most people are just overdoing it. And either they do too much, either with their body, with the diet. They are not kind to their bodies. Mostly we talk right now about the body condition. And, if you want to improve it too fast, you can actually shoot yourself in the foot, which you can create the situation even worse. So instead of going all out and trying too much, I suggest that the action the strategy for your action should be different. And I prefer if we can have attitude of taking small, teeny actions, but every day, consistently. So that means, exploring those opportunities and putting them into the action. It's just, we have to be patient. So I would say small victories, when they start compounding, will give you a great self-esteem, and you start believing what Catherine said. Yeah, this situation is not overwhelming. I can change it. But you have to start slow, and you have to start doing things which are very easy to do. So as I said before, you look around, maybe somebody already have some great idea, small idea. You just start implementing them slowly into your life and see how they works. So it's like you are a scientist, you are experimenting, but you're experimenting with the safety attitude. So small steps, you can always retract, you can always change a little bit here and there. And so that's one thing, and small steps on daily basis. And the most difficult thing with every new habit or new kind of activity, the most difficult part is to start it. That's why I'm saying, if you do something which is very simple and doable on daily basis, then you have to only concentrate on getting a habit of starting it. So when this will evolve by itself, because human beings also like to finish what they started. So when you have this habit of starting and you do those small steps, and you achieving those small victories on daily basis, you will create a domino effect. Well, this will start spilling over to other activities. You will start piling those habits one on another effortlessly. There will just new opportunities will start presenting themselves to you. So tiny steps have a very powerful impact on transformation. So the first step is see the opportunity. The second is to start acting upon them and start doing this in the correct strategy. So small is big, okay? Big is small, okay? So That's one thing. But I know the last thing, the overwhelming, you can be overwhelmed with those transformations. So some people have a very good start, even with small steps. But what happened over the time, either the lazy mind appears, or there's some other condition in your life when you stop in the middle. So that's a third component of this process. How to change the bad situation into a good situation permanently is our attitude. It means how you keep your mind attitude towards this whole process. Now, many people actually get discouraged, or they lose their motivation. And why is that? So very important is to ask yourself in the beginning even of this whole process, why do that and for whom? And from my own experience, the best way to keep us motivated is to have a very clear answer for why, and also a very clear answer for whom. And for whom is not only for yourself. I know that if everybody wants to transform ourselves and grow and get better, but if we only do it because we want get benefit from it, there is a chance that you will get discouraged. You will just settle in the middle and say, okay, I improve a little bit, it's fine with me. I don't want to try again. I don't want to do it more. But if you have at least one more person, okay, it could be your partner, it could be your child, or even the whole family, and you change the attitude, and you decided that your why is for them. You're doing this for not only for yourself, but for other people, those who love you. So if you get your mobility back, your whole family is benefiting from it, right? They don't have to worry about you. And also, if you start getting really get into this process, and you decide, you identify yourself as a person who's interested in recovery and interested in improvement, interested in growth, through this process, you will gain lots of wisdom. And this wisdom, don't keep to yourself. That's why we have those communities like Lipedema family, when you can hear from other people great advices, and you will end up being one of those people who is able to give a good advice to somebody else. And whenever you give the advice to somebody else, what happens? You start doing this yourself. Nobody wants to be hypocrite. So if you say to somebody, oh, you should try the correct diet, right? And then, oh, yeah, I'm giving those advices to everybody. I better do it myself. So we want to be congruent with our belief system. So this is very important. Remember those three components of how to change bad situation into good one. First, see there are opportunities in bad situation. There are not only challenges. The second, start acting upon them. And the third one, never lose this mindset that remind yourself through the process to keep going, why you do it, and for whom. And when you have a very clear answer for those two questions, you will not quit, and you will keep going. So I hope we will have time for Q&A, and you can put the questions into the box on the bottom of your screen, and we will have a time to answer more questions. So I will stop right now and hand over to Kathy, who will talk more about this issue.
Hello, everybody. This is Kathy. Thank you, Andrzej, for sharing about how to approach great challenges so that they can turn into opportunities. So actually, challenges appear for us all the time. They come sometimes from the outside situation. As we all know, there's the society, climate change, all kinds of things from our own families, maybe relationship issues, work issues. There are many things that come to us every day. So human being is equipped to adapt and face these challenges. All our entire, I would say, body-mind system is designed to face these challenges. There are also challenges, as we know, that come from the internal structure of our body-mind, and that is physical body issues, as many of us experience, and also mind issues. So Catherine introduced us in the beginning as Zen teachers. If you're not familiar with what that is we teach meditation in the tradition of Zen. And the meaning of Zen is understanding your true self. What am I? So it's about really having this big question inside ourselves. And maybe some of you have shown up today because you have this question: what is my life? Or how am I going to deal with this symptom or illness or discomfort or challenge? So having this existential question in our life from time to time, especially when we experience some benchmark moment or we experience illness, for sure, aging, okay. For many women, it's also menopause, okay, middle age. Various things, good things, bad things, appear as benchmarks in our life, and they help us to actually reflect on, yeah, what is my life? How is it just now? So when we meditate in Zen, we basically return to this questioning mind. Okay, so if you have children, or if you remember when you were young, when we were very little, we were always questioning, why? Mommy, why? Why is the sky blue? Why is the fire hot, right? So this curiosity about our life is very important. Keeping this curiosity about our life actually helps us stay young, helps us stay more vivid, alive, and that's actually part of what Zen meditation practice gives us, is to return to our original natural mind nature. So a wonderful ancient teacher once said, don't chase after the object of fear, but ask yourself, where does this fear come from? Or don't chase after the object of anger. Look at your angry mind. So earlier, Andrzej was talking about, looking inside. Yeah, where does this emotion come from? They're always transient. Our feelings, even pain, physical pain, even emotional or mental pain, they're not permanent. They don't stay on 24 hours straight, nonstop, and continue. They come and go. They come and go. So it's really important for us as individuals, no matter what your belief system is, or if you have a religion or not, it doesn't really matter. You still have this body and maybe some kind of host. We call it true nature or true self. We could call it mind, doesn't matter. But that so-called self is the host of this physical body. So who is this host? How are you just now? So when we embark on a path of recovery, whether it's a physical recovery or mental emotional recovery, the connection of our physical body and our mind nature is very important. And to do that well, to experience that connection, we do something called meditation. But before we even talk about that, and if any of you are interested in meditation, meditation is offered through the lipedema, lymphedema programs. So please contact us later or contact Catherine for more information to join this program. But before we even do that today, there's one takeaway that I think you can go away with that can be very useful, and that is about how to use our breath, how to use your breathing moment to moment that can help you really see every moment in our life that whatever appears as a challenge, big or small, is an opportunity. So how to do that? First, as Andrzej was saying earlier, if we are, let's say, faced with something that brings up fear, anxiety, or worry, the first thing you can do is breathe in and slowly, slowly breathe out. Okay, so breathe in and then exhale twice as long as your inhalation. So if you're breathing in 1, 2, 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's very simple. So as we exhale longer, okay, your nervous system switches from sympathetic to parasympathetic. So when we breathe in quickly in short breaths, often you will notice you're breathing this way when you're anxious or worried. Even if you weren't being chased by a tiger, even if you're just sitting at your desk at work, and let's say your boss is looking over you, you might be breathing fast inside from your upper chest. That's because we are fearful, worried, or anxious. But if you exhale longer, which is the reverse, exhale longer, then our nervous system switches from flight or fight to rest and digest to the parasympathetic nervous system. This is common knowledge, I think, for everybody who understands a little bit about the function of the brain and neuroscience or physiology of our breathing. Nevertheless, most human beings forget to use that. So meditation can help us first return to our breath, our very basic function in life, with which if you don't breathe even for 30 seconds, your life can be in danger, right? So you always have your breath. This is your best friend, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what challenge appears. So breathe in and slowly, slowly, slowly exhale. Focus on your exhalation. Then right away, that one tree in front of you, which says danger, turns into many trees, which gives you the full view. Okay, so that means you have the super surround view. You can hear clearly, see clearly, smell clearly, okay, perceive clearly, experience clearly everything that's going on. We say, stay awake. Okay, so the word Buddha, you've obviously heard of Buddhism. The word Buddha in the ancient Indian language of Sanskrit means the awakened one. So it's not a translation of God or anything like that. It's the awakened one. So it's about understanding what it is to wake up as a human being. So again, as I said, regardless of any religion, wake up. So if we wake up in this moment, you can use your breath to wake up in this moment. Your eyes are clear, your ears are clear, your perception is clear. As Andrzej was saying, first see clearly. So breathe in, slowly, slowly breathe out. If you're in a stressful situation, try that breath 3 times, 3 to 5 times. Very quickly, you will see a physiological transformation happening in your body and your mind. Okay, so then body and mind connect. And the connection is through our breath. So I'd like to try this with all of you right now, just for a couple of minutes. And I just want you to, wherever you are, sit up straight, okay, relaxed. So in a comfortable but not slouched position, try to keep your back straight, okay. And as you see the screen, you can also move the screen to the side. If you don't want to look straight into the computer, you can gaze just naturally at about a 45-degree angle onto the floor or wherever you are. You can keep your eyes open or closed. It's okay. If you keep your eyes closed, try not to fall asleep. Okay. So remember, we're just trying to stay awake just for a couple of minutes. Okay. And just relax, breathe in, slowly, slowly breathe out. Okay. I'm going to hit what's called a bamboo clapper. We're just going to try this for like 2 minutes. Okay. I'm going to hit it 3 times to start and then 3 times to end. And in the time in between, I'd like to ask all of you, please turn off your mobile phones. Don't look at your messages for just 2 minutes. Okay. Turn off anything, any screen, anything else that might distract you. Okay. And just let's come together to pay attention and just calmly, in a relaxed way, try to stay awake and clear in this moment. And the way to do it is you breathe in and slowly, slowly breathe out, as I said earlier. So you can breathe in 3, exhale 6. Okay. Breathe in 1, 2, 3. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you feel the speed of your breath is too fast, it's okay. Just be aware of your breathing so your exhalation is a little longer. Then come back to the next breath, inhale, and focus on your exhalation being longer. Okay? No matter how fast or slow your breath is, it doesn't matter. If you do it a little bit, you will start to see that your breath will naturally slow down. And that's what we want to do, is to slightly slow down our breathing speed. And very quickly, you will come back to a relaxed and peaceful and gentle, clear state. Okay, we're going to just try it for a couple of minutes. So please relax where you are and let's try it. Okay, so how was that? Did you all feel relaxed? Did you all feel your mind was going everywhere? Were you able to be aware of your breathing? Or maybe some of you already do some kind of meditation or breath awareness. Okay. Message from Lynn, very relaxed. Good, wonderful. So this is got a little head rush from Carrie. No problem. So that's normal. Like a head rush means, the blood went to your head. Sometimes when you're doing this kind of relaxed breathing, sometimes you'll start to feel that your head was spinning around before. We have lots of thinking. Okay. So breathing like that, stopping and breathing, we call it meditation. This kind of practice, if we can do it a little bit every day, even 5 minutes. I like to see it as I don't know if some of you are familiar with Brené Brown, who talks about the power of vulnerability in human beings. And she always talks about choose courage over comfort. So maybe some of you might have experienced that sitting for 2 minutes, not moving, okay, not talking, not looking at your phone, or not doing a whole bunch of other habits we're familiar with is uncomfortable. So sitting like that, not doing anything, just sitting, takes courage. Okay, so let's take some courage in our life, do something a little different. This will go a really long way in your road to recovery. Why? Because by meditating, we're studying ourselves. We are the subject of our research. We are the researcher. Okay, you are the result of your research as well. And that's actually what Zen is. It's a study of what am I? What is my life? So every moment we can return to this moment by breathing in and then exhaling and looking at what is going on right now? How is it just now in this moment? Is it fear? Okay, where does fear come from? Then it passes away like a cloud. Where did it go? The next moment appears happiness. What is happiness? It'll also go away the next moment. So every moment, anything that appears as a challenge appears, changes. Anything that appears as a good situation appears, changes. So what is the thing that doesn't change? What is the thing that sees good things appearing, bad things appearing, everything changing? Who are you? So if we can have a little bit of an adjustment in our lifestyle where we, as Andrzej was saying, it's about the attitude. It's the third part. First, he talked about our view, see clearly. What is happening just now? Okay, that means we get a little detachment from the situation, the anxiety, the feelings, okay, which are impermanent, and who is having these feelings. So you have this experience of being a little detached from the actual experience, even if it's uncomfortable or difficult. If you breathe in and slowly, slowly exhale into that discomfort, okay? Then the second that he talked about is to do something. So breathing in and breathing out is the action that'll take you there, okay? Then you can also do something else. Maybe you have to stand up, go for a drink of water, okay? Or take a walk, right? Or if that's difficult, call a friend, call a support group, okay? Come to LE&RN and Lymphedema support group. Get feedback from your peers, your friends. Talk to your doctor, okay? Your therapist, your consultant. Get all the tools out of your toolbox, use them. That's our action, okay? And the final part he talked about was to have this deep questioning, as I said in the beginning of this talk, curiosity. What am I? What is my recovery? What's it for? Yeah, I want to feel good. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel beautiful. I want to be joyful. And all of us understand from any of those good situations, the good feelings, the good results, that it's only truly joyful when we share it with others, especially those we love, those we care about. And of course, when we can offer that extra energy that comes from our joy and our recovery with the world, that gives us lasting satisfaction. It's about finding the direction of our life. So a great teacher once said, the purpose of life is to find the purpose of life. So it's a never-ending journey of discovery. So I want to thank you, all of you, for showing up today, because it takes courage to show up. It takes courage to do new things that are difficult and challenging. But those are the challenges that help us transform the challenges of suffering. So I hope all of you can, I hope this was beneficial for all of you, and that all of you will also continue on your beautiful road of recovery, not only for yourselves, but for all those around you, so that there's more joy, wisdom, and great love and compassion for the surroundings around you, because the world needs all of us to be more clear and healthy. This world needs our help. Okay, so I guess we're supposed to open up for any kind of questions. Thank you for some of your comments that I've seen. I hand it over to Catherine.
There are a couple of questions. So Andrzej, you talked about micro actions, and Kathy, you talked about clear direction. With lymphedema especially, it can be overwhelming. It can be incredibly, okay. There, I'm sorry, I wasn't sharing my video. It can be overwhelming. And part of the overwhelm is that it's chronic, it doesn't change. There are little bits that can get better, but it is a challenging road. And so what can you say to how to find a path when each day can be overwhelming, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually? Did I forget anything?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. I mean, people with chronic conditions, in many conditions, there is no immediate cure for it. There is no clear road how to recover. And that's why they are called chronic, right? So that means the only thing is when we learn from our doctors or health providers that we have this condition, well, right away we are sad, right? This is not something we want to have. So many people, when they find out they have chronic condition, and there's a lot of people who live with that, there's lots of chronic diseases without cure. So that what I would say is very important first to accept it, and without some spiritual perspective, is very difficult to deal with it. So many people say the things are happening for some reason. Okay, so but most people asking question, why me? And we start comparing ourselves with people who don't have this condition, and we become sad or envy. But I would say our suffering is not in vain. There is some reason for it, and we can use it. So from spiritual perspective, actually, if we don't have suffering, it's very difficult for us to get outside of this kind of comfort, typical human life. We don't see also we are not, it's not easy for us to, for example, relate to suffering of other people. So suddenly we have this condition and we start seeing, oh, life is suffering. There's lots of people who have suffering. And the question is, when you have a challenge of any kind, it's forcing you to reflect, to have a reflection on your life. And maybe you are forced by this condition to change your life attitude and become more spiritual, see a big perspective. There is suffering or any challenge is forcing us to grow. And the only growth you see, like, okay, I cannot really grow, fix my body, okay? And honestly, the chronic condition human beings are, everybody our body will get sick from time to time or continuously, right? That's one thing. Our body will also get old. And in the end, our body will die, even if we eat good food all day long and we don't have any chronic condition. Even healthy people are finally, they cannot keep this body. So then the question is like, then what am I? And from our tradition, we believe, and when you experience that, actually, your mind is a host, your body is a guest. So what you can do, what you can get really good at, is not allow your body to control your mind. Not affect your mind. You can choose that. So, for example, most people who don't have this physical suffering, actually, their body control their mind more. Okay, so they want to bring as much pleasure as possible to this body. But when you have physical pain and discomfort, okay, then you see like, okay, what am I? Am I only this body? And then if you look really deeply, no, you are bigger than that. You are something way more wonderful. And if you start exploring that, you will find that your true self is never sick. Your true self doesn't get old. Your true self, your clarity, you can keep. And then you can be ahead of everybody who doesn't have this physical condition because you become more clear. So I'm not saying give up on your body. As I said, even when your mind becomes more clear, you will not identify yourself with your condition and you don't allow this condition overwhelm you. But also at the same time, because your vision you start seeing those little openings here and there when you can do something little every day. And why the community is important, because this collective wisdom is better than our wisdom. So many times we don't see that actually people next to us went through the same thing and they follow some solution and it worked for them. So instead of us being overwhelmed looking for some big solution, we can, as I said before, copy and paste, right? Use something and try to implement in our life with this little, teeny actions, create a teeny habits and get teeny victories every day by just working on it. And don't worry about it, because you will never know when this situation can dramatically change, and I believe in domino effects. So if you start one thing, don't try to start 10,000 things. Just try one thing which was really helping you and start doing it on a regular basis. Easy to do it, doable on daily basis. And when you do that, then this will start creating a domino effect, and you start doing creating new habits around your health and well-being. But if your mind is overwhelmed with it, and you identify yourself with the bad situation and you don't see the way out, then actually this will go other way around, okay?
Thank you, Andrzej. Another question is about this idea of clear direction that you talked about, Kathy. It's very convoluted again, with a chronic disease. Can you talk a little bit about how does one cultivate clear direction when you don't know if you're going to wake up, if you're going to have, you're going to have this wrong or that wrong. And that emotional backlash itself is so challenging.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, Catherine. As Andrzej was saying, actually, our human body, our Zen master, Sung San, our teacher, said, it's like a rented car. You got a rented car. Some people get a Mercedes, some people got a Toyota, maybe I got a pickup truck, my car here is called a Morning. It's a little car. And the problem that we have as human beings is that we get attached to this label of the car that we got. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. Everybody has a problem with their car, one way or the other, okay? So the issue really is about seeing the impermanence of this car. And that's where the pain comes in. Because if your car doesn't work well, the problem is that, the human body is a car. You're the driver. But we always confuse ourselves because we have this delusion, I am the car. My body is me. And of course, it's not easy for us to see that clearly. So if we see that we are having, so one wonderful teacher, ancient teacher said, suffering, illness, and difficulties in life, don't treat them as bad things. Invite them as guests because they're actually the things that are there for us to sweep away our negative karma, so-called, our negative cause and effect in our life. So I've learned myself through various illnesses and surgeries and things in my life to see them as opportunities one way or another. Actually, we don't really have a choice. Often we think, okay, that's why I talk about courage over comfort. Sometimes this idea of comfort, like what we choose in a moment, in a nanosecond, is maybe we choose for that overriding emotion of fear, anger, anxiety, or blame, okay? That's our comfort. It's not always the, chocolate ice cream and, hiding myself under the blanket and watching Netflix. That's not the comfort. That's the result of our so-called comfort decisions. But the real comfort we choose deeply inside our consciousness, the comfort of wanting to go into that place in our mind where we don't want to change, where we don't want to do something that's a little more uncomfortable. That's why I talked about sitting for 2 minutes may have been uncomfortable for some of us, right? It sometimes is still for me after like 25 years, sometimes we don't want to do those things. But when we do show up, then something changes. It changes our DNA. It changes the way our mind neural pathways go because we're changing our habit. So this direction you were asking about, I think, has to do with the fact that, as Andrzej said, you have to see the things just as they are first. We have to really, really see things in truth. And that takes a lot of courage because it's very difficult for us to see the truth. It's very difficult for many of us to see reality. It's very difficult for us to be even completely honest, even with ourselves, because we all come with some kind of baggage from childhood or from whatever, however long our past lives are, that has a certain way of protecting this so-called I, my, me, right? Our ego. And one thing we can do on a path of recovery is to honor that and respect it and say, we don't need that anymore. I don't need to hold my ego to recover anymore, right? I don't need to hold on to that idea that I have to look better or that I have to, be something that I'm not. So it's those existing constructs or software in our consciousness that we carry around that are not visible, but there, that get in the way. So we have to find ways to get out of the way, to get out of the way of our own hindrances in recovery. So as Andrzej said, yeah, a spiritual path is really important. And we're not, in any way suggesting any kind of, religion or you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a particular religion. It doesn't have to be one specific path, but each of us has to find a way to address this great, deep honesty within ourselves. And if we don't, it's harder. It's definitely harder. Yeah. So
I know for myself personally, I spent the first several years determined to change that I had lymphedema. I was like, I can kick this. I can fight it to the ground. I can, all different versions of that. And I think that from a very fundamental place, moving from accepting it, and then Andrzej didn't say it in quite these words, but Andrzej, you said, how can this be a teacher? How can this be a friend? How can this be for me instead of against me? And even just sitting with that question is remarkable, even just considering it.
Yeah, and look what you did with it. You let it be known to the world. You're helping thousands of people connect with the reality of what this is and find a way for recovery too, right? So that's your wisdom. That's lymphedema, they are your teachers, right? But to be able to say that now, look what it took for you to be able to say that now, to say they are my teachers, right? Yeah. Yeah. So a wonderful teaching I learned recently about having your own manifesto, your own outlook on life is you have to have both agency and humility. So it's the same, I think, for recovery is we have to have agency, which means we have to build confidence. We have to get tools, know how to use them and use them, as Andrzej said. And you have to have humility, which means completely really look at this. What am I? Who is this I, right? Our ego structure, our built-in softwares, and can we let go of any of them? So we can really get in touch with who we really are, which has a tremendous amount of potential, a tremendous amount of love, compassion, and wisdom, and this ability to have empathy and connect with everyone else who suffers. So we want to help them.
Yeah, at the root, it really is that fine edge between being able to be present with oneself in one's own self-care, and then also have a view of something that's much bigger, which is a form of compassion.
And that's where community comes in.
Yeah. And speaking of community, I want to thank, we're going to wrap up, but I want to thank LE&RN and the folks at LE&RN, Bill and Phyllis and Steve and Colleen and so many of the staff who have been so wonderful. And I want to especially thank you, Kathy and Andrzej, for coming and sharing and being part of this world and making it much better to live with these chronic diseases. So thank you very much.